Okay, let's do this.
Anti-hero. She's my auntie. She's my hero.
Her name is Hero. Hi, anti-hero.
All right.
Cool.
I will start when the sound effects start. Oh, never mind. You start.
Was that me? Did I actually do that? I attacked, I swung the sword, but I didn't make it. Making weapons isn't a power I have. Right?
Sorley's ears perked up at the sound of approaching helicopters and gouts of flame. Atreyu and a battalion of GSO elite soldiers were inbound. The grunts would be no issue, but the elite soldiers were another case entirely. While not gifted with powers, each soldier of the elite force had been modified genetically with superior strength and resilience. Not to the level of super, but just enough that the 50 would be a problem. A big problem! Then, there was Atreyu. You must be a glutton for punishment, Grim Raven.
It's not what you think.
Enough! You've murdered a hero in cold blood. You will face justice.
Can I take him?
Sori ran inventory on himself. He had only survived his skirmish, with Atreyu on the roof due to the unpredictability of his recently awakened powers. In his current state, he wouldn't be able to stand toe-to-toe with the top-ranked hero.
I'm exhausted, but whatever burst of power I felt before I got this sword, feather sword, is gone. I'll be lucky to run away. Freefall wasn't a hero. He was working with Thorn Titan, running some scheme.
No more lies! I've endured your nonsense and conspiracy for long enough. Atreyu was a blur of motion, unslinging his bow, drawing the string back and unleashing a fusillade of arrows at Sorley all at once. He reacted instinctively, lurching to the left and swinging his blade out to the right, saving himself from the arrows aimed at his heart and face, but not from the arrow that slammed into his left side. Atreyu had anticipated his dodge. Sorley spun with the impact and nearly toppled over.
Will you just listen to me? I don't want to fight you!
I wouldn't want to fight me either. Atreyu drew his bowstring back. The arrow that formed along it rippled with heat and destructive power.
Shit!
Dodge this one if you can. Sorley's suit ran a rapid analysis of the incoming projectile, and the rune on the back of his hand burned again. The arrow was volatile, and dodging it, according to the suit, was a bad idea. The burning mark of Tyr had saved him before. Sorley trusted it would try doing so again. Sorley brought the smoldering feather sword up over his head and swung it down to impact the tip of the arrow, sending it careening into the ground 3 feet in front of him. What are you? The arrow detonated with the force of a cruise missile, sending Sorley flying and forcing Atreyu to backpedal.
I'm not going to be able to take much more of this.
The taste of copper filled Sorley's mouth. Deep.
Gotcha!
Before he could right himself in the air, the familiar tones of Leap's teleportation and voice sounded behind him. A pair of hands gripped him, and he heard the sound again. Both Sorley and Leap tumbled onto the carpet of a familiar apartment floor.
Fuck.
Sorley groaned and rolled onto his back. The arrow lodged into his side had snapped off evenly with his skin, despite the suit's protection. Burning streaks of pain shot through the whole of his torso when he tried to sit up.
He got you good, love. No time to lay about. We need to move. Now.
Sorley clasped Leap's outstretched hand and, with her help, got to his feet.
I didn't know you could teleport with other people.
That's the trick for staying free, love. Tell them enough to be believable, but not enough that they can catch you whenever they want.
Right.
Hey, Cat. Audrey strolled around the couch past an assortment of packed bags. Sorely arched a brow. Remedy left this for you the other day. Seems like this is what it was for. Leap took the items, glanced at the note, and handed it to Sorley.
This is for you. Grim Raven. A friend told me that you would be going up against Tyler Snow soon. I never liked the bastard. Left too many bodies to be a proper hero. If you're banged up and need to fight, this little concoction will let you do so. It's still in the experimental phase and I won't bore you with all the science behind it. Just know that it kicks like a mule and will have you going strong for about 15 minutes before the effects start to wear off. Be safe, Grim. You're doing good work. Warren Greer.
Thanks.
Sorley held his hand out expectantly for the syringe. Leap hesitated for a moment before surrendering it.
So...
Sorley pocketed the booster and moved for the door.
Grim, where are you going?
Atreyu tagged me. Him and a battalion of elite goons will be here any minute. I'm gonna head north. The two of you should go south.
But...
There's no but about this, Leap. I have a target stuck in my rib. You're implicated, and now Audrey is too. This thing will give me 15 minutes, and I can't keep you two and myself safe. This isn't up for debate.
When Leap stammered, Sorley turned and left the apartment.
I have to move fast.
Sorley sprinted down the hall toward the north-facing window. With a grunt of relief, he soared through the glass pane. The shards of glass streamed off him like rainwater as he launched into the city skyline. Sorley rolled over in the air and scanned the horizon. The attack choppers diverted sharply from their intended course and his direction. And in his direction. A gout of flame and a burst of neon light told him that Atreyu and Arclight were headed his way too.
Shit.
Arclight, civilian name, Sergei Vaughn, was a city guardian level hero, but would be problematic to fight alongside Atreyu. He seemed a little too laid back whenever the news stations caught him in action, seeming to be comfortable where he was. If Arclight were holding back to maintain his current position, Sorley would be outgunned even at his peak. Sorley adjusted his trajectory and rocketed toward the city streets below.
I'm only gonna have one real shot at shaking these assholes.
The more difficult he could make it for the helicopters to navigate, the more he could focus on the real threats. Arclight and Atreyu. Not bothering to hold back his shouts of pain, Sorley dug his fingers into his side, around the remaining haft of the projectile still lodged in him until he got to the burning arrowhead and tore it out. The relief from the pain was instantaneous, as was the fading of adrenaline. The pain had kept him sharp, and now that it was gone, all that was left was fatigue. That was until he remembered the asphalt rushing up to meet him. Sorley flipped in the air and slammed both feet into the pavement, heaved the arrowhead westward, and took off to the east toward the bunker. He wasn't in the air anymore, though, so there shouldn't be really like a bunch of flapping sounds. He stayed on the ground, forcing his legs to pump as fast as they could.
Best case, Atreyu and Arclight split up where I landed, and the grunts circle the area in an expanding radius. If I can get outside of that without getting caught, I can get to the bunker and wait it out. Worst case, I have to fight both of them. 50 soldiers and deal with the choppers all in 15 minutes. If that's what I have to do. Maximizing collateral is how I get away, but...
Sorley stumbled and almost lost his footing.
That's what a villain would do.
He slid to a stop and dug into his pocket for the needle, then held it behind his fingers, using his index and pinky to hold it in place. Sorley turned to look at blazing neon light that approached him and held his hands up in mock surrender, keeping the injector out of sight and the plunger right next to his thumb. That is the first smart thing you've done today. Grim Raven, right? Arclight landed at least 20 feet from Sorley.
Not a lot of space. Arclight's attacks travel at, well, the speed of light.
Sorley would have to get very lucky or very clever to dodge.
You know, I don't hear that often enough. Wait until he calls it in, then move.
So, this was your whole plan? Kill Freefall, get rescued by some thief, and leave town? Not very well thought out, especially with the press conference and everything. Come on, man. I thought you were going to save the world or whatever. Pretty uninspired in practice, no?
He's stalling too. I mean, what plan maintains contact with the enemy, am I right? I planned to expose Freefall as a villain conspirator, but that only went so well. I was the only person he confessed to. And now he's pretty dead.
Arclight was about Sorley's age, but had all the brainwashing the GSO wanted him to have. He got red in the face and brought his left hand up to his ear.
Go time.
Sorley turned his right hand around and sidestepped to the left. His assumption that Arclight would fire at the first movement he saw was correct, as a lance of neon light shot through the air where Sorley's right hand used to be. He jammed the needle into his neck and pushed the fluid in, dropping to the floor of the dingy alleyway to avoid another blast. Sorley's heart thumped hard against his ribs, and the colors of his vision split into 3 waves for a second before reconvening into a solid image.
Kicks like a mule.
Sorley pressed up against the ground and over the next blast, landed on his feet, and surged forward.
Nothing personal.
Sorley roared as he drove his right knee straight into Arclight's groin and dropped his right elbow onto the back of the young hero's neck. He rolled around to the left and landed a devastating shin kick, sending Arclight into the nightclub adjacent to the alleyway through the wall. Sorley touched down and went to sprint away, but his legs didn't move. They were frozen in place.
Shit.
He looked up, just in time to see Atreyu leer at him and loose an expanding arrow made of ice. "Got you, little raven!" Sorley held his arms up to block the shot and braced.
What the?
The arrow had collided, but there was no pain, no knockback, just cold. Ice spread over Sorley's forearms and raced up to his shoulders and across his chest. "Grim Raven, you're under arrest for the murder of Freefall, Momentum Hero, destruction of GSO property, and endangering the lives of countless civilians. Do you have anything to say for yourself?"
Fuck you.
Bam!
Beauty.
Sweet.
All right, DeProf, get in here.
Hello, hello.
All right, so we're back. We're back into the Anti-Hero Chronicles. This is Season 2, Episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
So what is happening here?
So, for those that may have missed or have not watched the finale, the previous episode, effectively, Sorley has gotten quote-unquote vengeance against his primary nemesis, Freefall, the person responsible for everything that has kind of gone wrong in his life, and is now on the run as a fugitive because he's, to everybody's perceptions, killed one of the top heroes in the entire organization. And right at the end here, he's been captured and is going to be taken in for questioning regarding all of that. So we'll be in for a little bit of a surprise, a little bit of a shift in perspective in the next episode. It'll be an exciting time. Kind of show the other side of the coin in this world here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting excited. We're meeting a lot of different characters. The plot is thickening. I'm having fun with this, especially now that Ahmed is kicking even more ass with the sound effects. It's a lot better. I can't wait till we are just doing live performances like this is not easy. We have to worry about each other's syncing and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting better. We're getting better
Oh,
at
100%.
making this stuff work. So this is really good practice because there's a lot of action involved.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a lot of fun.
So Mr. Grim Raven, How are you doing, Justin? You enjoying being a Grim Raven?
You know, I get to channel my inner Grim. Just life is too hard, but I gotta stay the
voice,
good guy, right?
it has some real Solid Snake vibes for me. I'm just
Yeah.
like, when I hear it, I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I'm being transported back to playing Metal Gear Solid for the first time. It's like, liquid. Brr. It's fucking great. I love it.
It's really great.
I'm
I
having
love
a
it.
blast.
And
Awesome.
It's
you know what? I just this is a little bit of a tangent, but also pretty related because I've been buying some comic books for a secret thing that I'm doing right now, and I'm buying old ones, like not super old, like 90s ones.
Mhm.
And I just got some in today, and when I opened, like I haven't bought comic books in forever, right? Like old ones, you know. So when I opened the box today, the smell hit me. I was like, and then the memories came back, like just oh my god, like of being in comic book shops with my brother.
Kind of old paper, like
Yeah, that old print, like cheap print, like it just brought me back. I'm seeing like all these action figures and like remembering all the comic book shops I used to go to. Is the Anti-Hero Chronicles kind of a throwback for you, Joe? Does this?
It is. So this is like a huge throwback to me for me to like Batman Beyond on Cartoon Network. Like that was
right.
that was where a lot of this kind of started. And like just kind of like how I envision like the costume looking and kind of like the technology and that kind of stuff is just very much Batman Beyond in my head. Which makes it a lot of fun to write because it's very nostalgic for me.
Yeah, and you know what? Batman Beyond is one of the few like legit cartoons that like I don't know, I don't have any complaints about that show. It
Right.
felt right. It felt
Followed
completely
the
right when it
animated
came out.
series very well.
Yeah, it really did. And then having like, you know, the old
Kept Kevin
Bruce Wayne.
Conroy on.
Yeah,
Yep.
fuck
To be
yes,
just
man.
crotchety old Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. So good work with that. Now I'm just gonna be seeing Batman Beyond when we play
Yes.
this, and I'm gonna channel it. I'm gonna get the tone a little bit better. You know.
Awesome. Mission accomplished.
Indeed. So Joe, thanks so much for starting season 2 back up with us. Do you have anything else that you want to mention before we move on to Mr. Baldwin?
Well, so now that I have like situated my entire recording situation, I had a meeting with Ahmed the other day. He helped me set up Ableton, so I'll get to like join Gary and screaming
Nice.
Ableton in Discord at some point, I'm sure. Narration is going to be starting like full force on Ascendant Online Book 1.
Wow, nice.
all right.
So
Looking forward to it.
keep your peepers peeping. It's coming.
Indeed. Right on. And if people want to follow you, they want to follow your writing and stuff, where should they go?
They can go to dprof.net. Real simple, real straightforward. That'll bring you to things like my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, my Discord server, Twitter, all of it. You go to one place and you can find everything else. Other than that, you can find me on Twitch, DeProf Gaming. Real easy, DEPROF Gaming. I do D&D streams pretty much every Wednesday, running a game for a few folks that are actually here in chat today, which is super cool to see. Considering, you know, there's like an ocean in between some of us. But yeah, those would be the two biggest places to look, would be Twitch.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And we will see you again in another month.
Another month, maybe sooner. I don't know. I'll talk with Ahmed about it. We'll figure it out.
We'll see. All right. Later, Joe.
Later, guys.
See you, Joe.
All right. Well, we have a guest. How many times has James been on this show so far? Joe, get the fuck out of here.